not everyone knows the issues surrounding real estate. And there's a ton of issues when it comes to just property ownership. If we're not there having a voice, if we're not there advocating for you, there's no one there for you. I don't need the accolades. Sometimes it makes me uncomfortable because I'm here to do the work. I'm here to give back. In my head, if you were to get in and have a TV of my thoughts, I'm really questioning how I'm thinking. And I think it's important to question how you're thinking and saying, okay, is this the right solution for everyone? I think about our small brokers, our medium-sized brokers, our large brokers and mega brokers. But then I think about, okay, just the agent.
Hello, RWorld. Welcome back to another episode of RWorld Talk. We are coming fresh off of the Realtor Revolution, and I am sitting here with your president-elect for 2025.
Yes.
President in 2026. Congratulations, Mr. Jonathan Dolphus.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing well today, man. It's a great day to be an RWorld member.
It sure is a great day. I've got a feeling, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know, Jonathan Dolphus and I are very good friends, and I expect that he is going to pull some things out of left field and have me cracking up here. So I apologize if I laugh too hard into this microphone, but he is a jokester. But we're going to talk about some serious stuff today.
Serious.
We're going to try and get serious today. Jonathan,
Yes.
you are not only going to be our president in 2026, but you and I have served together for quite a number of years on the corporate board here at RWorld. On a national stage with NAR, you have been a dedicated board member and have served on multiple committees. RTAC Participation Council,
Yes.
you were chair in 2023, immediate past chair in 2024. Housing Opportunity Committee, which I served on at NAR as well. If you guys want to make some real impact in your profession, certainly a fantastic committee to get on. You were a member of the Housing Opportunity Grant Review Subcommittee,
Yes.
Federal Taxation Committee and its work groups, the Realtor Party Member Involvement Committee, RPAC Trustees Fundraising Committee. It's incredible, but those your accolades extend beyond those roles. You received the Florida Realtors RPAC Innovator of the Year Award in 2021.
Yes.
I should say we
did. Co-chairs. That was a great year.
That was a great year. Well, I mean, the year itself
was different.
Yeah, it was real whack, but yeah, we made it through. But that was recognizing you for your forward-thinking contributions to Realtor Party initiatives. But beyond professional contributions, you have positively impacted the community. You were a coach for the junior varsity boys basketball team at Kings Academy for
JV and varsity. Yep.
JV and varsity.
Yep.
Okay. Obviously instilling leadership and teamwork values into the lives of those young athletes. We want to explore your leadership philosophy today,
Sure.
your vision for 2026 and beyond, and how you plan to elevate professionalism while advocating for private property rights and home ownership for our communities.
Right.
So, I mean, we have a lot of fun and we joke a lot, but you actually have a serious side and you are the consummate professional. So we're excited to have you. Welcome to RWorld Talk. For those who may not know your story, I actually was walking in here today thinking that you were on a couple of years ago when we had the round with the executive committee. I was mistaken. This is your first time here. So
it is.
we need to get into your story. I wanted you to share a little bit about your background, how you got started in real estate, and really what drew you into leadership roles.
Great. So fun story. How I got into real estate. I actually did not want to be a realtor. I grew up in a family. My parents were flippers. They were investors.
Okay.
So I grew up redoing properties. I mean, you name it. At a very young age, my dad would pack us three boys in a truck and we'd go work on properties. So we always had, we used to call it house number 1, 2, and 3 that we had my parents had investment properties and we'd go work on those. And then as well as families, investment properties. So we were handyman at very young ages. I was cutting grass at like 7. So, that was the crux of growing up. I mean, my dad always taught us handyman type of things to do. And so when I got into real estate, it was kind of a natural progression because actually my mom was a broker. So not many know that I started working my real estate career with my mother in real estate.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So my mom was a broker. My oldest brother actually was a realtor too, as well. We're a small, family owned firm.
Okay.
And so I worked there for the early part of my career. But how I got into real estate, I really wanted to be an investment banker. I wanted to, I was very into stocks, bonds, trading, all that type of stuff. And then when I realized I would be kind of behind the desk most of the time, and I'm a very people person, if you know me, then it was just not for me. And so my dad was like, "Why don't you get your real estate license? I'll pay for the course. You do it, see if you like it." And I got my real estate license at 19 and been in it ever since, going
Oh,
on
at 19.
15 years plus now.
Wow.
Crazy to think about.
So your parents were fixing and flipping houses, and they're still together to this day.
Yeah. Unbelievable. 40 plus years, by the way.
Awesome. So, if there was a defining moment when you realized real estate was more than just a career, it was your true calling. I mean, at what point you're 19 years old, your dad got you to just try it out,
Right.
and here you are all this time later, now about to be president of the third largest real estate association in the country. What was that defining moment where you said, "Okay, this is for
So
me"?
it was interesting. So I was obviously full-time student in college. And so I got to be known as the realtor that got everyone into rentals.
Okay.
So there was a couple communities around where the school campus was, and everyone knew me. That it's just word of mouth. And so I was making a nice bit of cash just doing rentals. And so when I saw kind of the money coming in from rentals, I was like, this is not bad.
Not bad at all.
And not bad at all. And so I really stuck with it, kind of put together a business plan. And then once I graduated college, I went full time into sales. And so at that point, I was really my first deal was probably the biggest headache of my life, but I dealt with a bankruptcy. And so this person was had bankruptcy. They were back on their HOA dues. So I was dealing with 3 and 4 attorneys just to be able to get this property closed. And that was like my first ever deal, real estate sales deal. That was just like mind boggling, but I loved it. I was just like every speed bump, there was a way to get around it,
Right.
to work with people, to figure it out. Attorneys are not that scary. Some of them are not that bright, but don't kill me, Courtney. But it was just figuring out the deal and then getting it to closing was just the most satisfying thing. And I've had deals also where I've helped people out, giving up some of my commission so that they can obtain home ownership, and that's a gratifying feeling too as
Big
well.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, one thing that you just mentioned that I want to touch on because I think it's super important. You're 19 years old, you're doing rentals, and you just mentioned you put together a business plan.
yeah.
So many people go year after year after year, spinning their wheels, doing the same old thing, seeing the same
Right.
nothing burger
Right.
results. You actually put together a business plan so
Yeah.
that you had a path forward and knew how you were going to get to
Right.
your goals.
It was interesting because actually, as one of my final, I don't want to say project, well, projects in college was doing an actual business, and I did it on real estate. I was in real estate. Why not do a real estate brokerage plan?
Right.
I did the whole plan. I actually did a plan more so catered to me and my business, and putting that together. Got an A on it, by the way. And so, but it's funny. I implemented that plan because I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to get out of college. This is what I'm going to do full time. Let me try to put something together that I can follow so that I'm making money. So I did that for a while, and obviously, as business plans goes, nothing's perfect. You have to go and fix it. You have to change things. You have to
Yep.
work things out. You know, throw pasta on the wall, see what sticks. Some things didn't stick, but I had
That's
to work
pasta,
it
right?
out. Yeah, it's pasta. I mean, you see, I almost said something crazy. So there's so many things that you can throw at the wall, but and find out what works.
Uh-huh.
But it was one of those things that stuck with me. So each year I do something. Once we get to the holiday season, I rethink, okay, what am I going to do next year? What can I change? What can I make more efficient? What can really just bring more business into what I'm doing? What do I need to change? What I need to give up? What I need to source out. And so those are things that I really try to have a level head on and be really honest with myself and say, you didn't do this well, probably need to outsource that. Or I did this really well, need to do more of it, and really use that when I propel myself into the next year.
Awesome. I think that's fantastic advice for anybody who's listening to us today.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about young professional to president elect.
Yes.
So you were recognized as YPNer of the Year, Young Professional Network Member of the Year back in 2016.
Right.
Now you're on track 10 years later to be our president in 2026. How did that early recognition shape your leadership journey, and what has kept you engaged at every level since? Because for anybody who doesn't know, there's a heck of a lot of levels
Yeah.
that you work through, just really really honing your craft as a leader within the organization. But why don't you tell us how that shaped your leadership journey?
So I got involved with the board about 2 years into having my real estate license. So 2012, I really got involved with YPN. And so that was like, I mean, we were talking realtors of the Palm Beaches at that point. We haven't merged or anything like that, but shout out to Carlos Melendez and Brett Bottiger. I feel like I'm butchering your last name, but love you, Brett. They really started the YPN group, and so got involved with that. The events grew and grew. White Party came out of that. And so from there, that was my first committee that I really got onto. And so really dealing with different personalities, really coming together to bring about a great product in YPN for the board as a whole, different events, a rebar camp, working with, our neighbors to the south, neighbors to the north, even nationally known YPNers that would come down and speak. It was just really a good base point to start my leadership journey. And then from there, went into Leadership Academy in 2015 with Judy Ramella as our chair. Had a lot
Love
of
me some Judy.
Oh, love me some Judy. Had a lot of great past presidents in there. Jeff Levine, John Sylvan, Patty Renna, just in there really helped shape and mold us into great leaders of today. And then you get on the board and Florida Realtors, directors, and so on and so forth. But there's many levels, and that's one of the things is that I appreciate about my journey is that I didn't rush it. I really took the time to learn. I took the time to take advice. I took the time to really enjoy the moment and enjoy what I'm doing at that time and point. My mind was never to be here in this point where I am now to be president. Never had an inkling thought of that. It was really just to serve and to really give back to an industry that has done so much for me, but also keep our industry viable for years to come. And homeownership, I think, is one of the major parts of just the American dream is
Right.
to own a home, to be able to have a roof over your head. And so I really wanted to be a part of that. And so when I found out about our advocacy uh, through Leadership Academy, it really opened my eyes. And going to Great American Realtor Days and going to the legislative days that we have on a federal level was just eye-opening because now I really see how the sauce is cooked basically is what they say, and but really knowing that we have a voice and that our legislators listen to us. We're not just giving money, we're also affecting the lives of people that we serve and work with every single day. We're serving ourselves too as well. I mean, as homeowners and people that rent ourselves, we're really serving the community and what we do. And so that's the side, the professional side that I didn't see that I loved. I didn't think that, I would be into politics like that, but I am. And, it's very important to be into your local politics because of how much the local affects us on a day-to-day
Yep.
basis. People think it's national and maybe state. Not always. It's really the local politics that really affect your day-to-day lives.
Yep.
It's just those local council men and women who are making decisions for you.
Yeah, we've got a lot of members
Oh,
who
yeah.
end up being involved in the political scene. And I think that it's through our advocacy efforts that you see the people that we're interacting with. Maybe we're doing candidate screening. Maybe
Right.
we've interviewed them through government affairs or sat down with them at guard. And it sort of sparks something going, wait a minute, I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially because the folks that you're talking to on the other side of the desk, you're like, wait a minute, you're just my next door neighbor, and you're sitting here doing this. This is crazy. I was going to ask you about a piece of advice that you want to give to today's YPN members who would want to follow in your footsteps. And the one thing that I caught there was take it slow.
Take it slow. There is no rush. Everyone, you get accolades, you get data boys, data girls, for doing great things. Enjoy that process. You're not always going to be the president, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to serve in a capacity on a committee level. We need those people. There are plenty of individuals that are great people that probably would make fantastic presidents of our association, but they have no desire, and that's okay. It's okay to still serve, but make money.
Yeah.
I always tell people, especially when you're new, especially the YPNers, they're usually new in business too as well. Make money. Have a book of business. Work on your business first. YPN is kind of to help you to build that network of individuals around where you serve and work. I like to see it as, when we go up to Florida Realtors and NAR, I love building relationships with other realtors because those are my referral partners.
Yep.
I mean, I have several referral partners that from the state and from the national level that we refer business every year, just because of those relationships. So I think it's very important when you're a new realtor, build your book of business, network. Yes, it is all in who you know. It is about getting out there and meeting other realtors. It's okay. Realtors not in your area, and realtors who might not have your expertise. If you have commercial realtors, those are great agents to network with. And so it's really about building that network, but take your time. When it comes to volunteer leadership, take your time. See what you like. Try everything. I did. I mean, if you
But
look at
not all
my
at once because
and
it's
not all exactly.
spending too many hours on committee work.
When are you gonna
Then
get real work?
your business.
You still got to pay the bills, okay? At the end of the day, so that's very important. But I would just say take your time, try things, find what you like, and then stick with it.
So next up, let's talk about national and state involvement. You've served not only at the local level, but also with Florida Realtors and NAR. We went through that in the beginning, chairing RPAC committees, key task forces. What have those experiences taught you, and how do you believe that they're going to influence your presidency next year?
One of the great so there's several things, several committees that I've served on that have been great. I would say so a lot of I'm heavy RPAC as you probably see in government affairs, but uh a couple of issues like the housing opportunity for NAR and being on the grant approval committee for and basically what that grant approval committee is, uh NAR has an allocated set amount of money for people holding housing events, housing seminars and things within their local area. It's really for the consumer benefit. And so the sitting on that grant approval really gives you just a big scope of what everyone is doing around the nation as far as different events to provide the consumers with information about home ownership, private property rights, and such like that. I thought that was cool. Another interesting thing is I was on the federal taxation, and one of those work groups was working on how our seniors are taxed and dealing with condos and things of that nature. And so that was really fun to collaborate with many individuals around the nation on that.
And that's a really hot topic in South Florida right now.
Super hot topic, right?
Yeah, I mean, condo reform that came
Right.
is really taking out seniors first.
Correct. And it's tough. I mean, it's becoming now unaffordable. Our most affordable product is becoming unaffordable.
Right.
It's crazy. And so that was another great thing. But one of my greatest experiences probably being on the travel team for NAR as participation council chair. I was able to be on the travel team. And what that is basically there's a team of us from the RPAC committees on NAR that go around and speak on RPAC and the legislative issues and wins that we've had on the federal level. And so every state ends up having, several RPAC related events throughout the year,
Sure.
whether it's state or local, and they call you in to come in and speak. And so that was fun getting to know the members around the nation, getting to form relationships. And
You went everywhere.
yeah, I mean, myself, I probably did, and this was like just before we had the lawsuits. It was as the lawsuits were coming, so that was a specifically tough year too as well.
Right.
But I mean, gosh, I was taking 2 to 3 trips a month at least, for that,
Yeah,
and
talk about
so
one time you were in backwoods Alabama, and then the next
yeah,
week you were
in
like,
the middle of nowhere, I'm like, yeah. So, that was just a great trip just to be able to meet so many different individuals and see that their issues were similar issues that we have here, taxation, dealing with insurance, condo reform, affordability, things of that nature. Those are hot topics, not just here in South Florida, but everywhere.
right, awesome. How do you explain the importance of advocacy to some of our members who may not feel directly connected to it? Some people say, I don't want to be involved because you're on the red side, you're on the blue side. It has nothing to do with that. You're the seasoned pro who is going to across the country to talk to various groups. You talk to very red groups, very blue groups,
Yeah.
and groups that are split right down the middle.
hmm
I mean, how do you explain the importance of what it is that we do as an advocacy organization?
So, always equated to this. I always say, if there wasn't an organization like us when it was related to RPAC, who would be there to advocate for you? And most people just sit there and think, well, I don't know who would be there to advocate for me. Maybe my local legislators. But what if they don't know about the issues surrounding what you have going on as a homeowner, as a property owner, as a business owner, uh, in regards to real estate? Most times they don't.
No.
And that's what they don't realize is most times our elected officials, great intentions, they're not industry experts.
Right.
Some of them are attorneys and they know, that side well, or they're architects, or they're this, or they're that. But not many of them just come, oh, from real estate. Yeah, we've done well. We have some realtor members who are elected officials now. That's great, but not everyone knows the issues surrounding real estate.
Right.
And there's a ton of issues when it comes to just property ownership. So, I mean, and we're talking not just on the residential side, we're talking commercial side too, for your businesses. And so when I say that, it kind of gets them alerted to, okay, well, who else is going to be there but the realtors? We are bipartisan. We're right down the middle. We don't care if you're on the red side, if you're on the blue side, it doesn't matter. It's all about private property rights. What is best for you in the long term of owning your property, of leasing your property? What are your rights that you need just as a basic human being to function and to survive and to provide for your family? And so those are the things that are important to us. We don't get into social issues. We don't care. It's all about the private property rights that we have. And so there's so many things when you're thinking about property taxes and what goes into that. Not many people know your police, your fire, everything's in there. And are they, assessing you the right amount? Are they assessing you too much?
Right.
Who's really watching it? We have dedicated government affairs directors that look at every single private property right bill. Like, think about that, and that's hundreds,
Yeah.
and there's thousands.
Thousands of bills.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I can't remember the number, but it's like thousands of bills that our legislators at the state level get. I mean, imagine what our local, elected officials are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and so these are things that we have to stay on top of. If we're not there having a voice, if we're not there advocating for you, there's no one there for you. There isn't.
And I think what people don't realize about the way that a legislature works, it doesn't matter if it's local, state, or federal government. Let's take DC, for example. We go and walk the halls of DC to meet with our people. When you're walking in those halls of DC, the legislators are in their offices. Those halls are filled with 20-something-year-old
Yep,
interns
yep.
that are the legislative aides. And
Key
they could do
staff.
all the research in the world on the language in a bill. But if they're not homeowners,
Right.
can they actually tell the story, the legislator, of what that bill is going to do to affect private property rights. That's why it's so important that we actually go there
Right.
and say, hey, got a couple stories to tell you because I just sold 100 houses last year and this is what we're dealing with.
And that's what we do. We tell stories. We tell the stories of the individuals that don't have the voice up there.
Right.
And that's what we need to say more to our consumers is like, hey, I'm telling your story up in Tallahassee. I'm telling your story up in Washington, D.C. I'm telling your story at your local council meeting.
Yeah.
And really getting your issues across so that we can come to a solution in order to have a better community, a better place to live, work and play. And so it's a everyday task. That's why we have full-time staff to look at this every day
Yep.
because we can't keep up with it, but we have great staff people who are able to look at all these bills and make sure that we're represented in every area that we cover, and so that we have viable communities for the future. That's what's important.
Yeah, and sorry if you're a legislative staffer and you happen to be listening to this. I was not dogging you in any way. I'm just anyway. Yeah, we know that you guys are brilliant, but
We're here to provide information.
we're here to tell the stories. um, every leader brings a unique style. How would you describe your leadership approach, and what do you want members, especially those younger or emerging leaders, to take away from working with you?
So I am a leader that likes to get the information. I like to digest information. I'm not going to be one that's going to be quick to speak on things all the time. I will think about things. I will think about scenarios. I will have conversations with other people with varying opinions and ideas. I think that's what's so great about our corporate board is that we have so many um, different varying views, brokers, agents, team leads, etc to really come to a consensus and make decisions for our organization. And that's what I enjoy most as a leader is working with my competitors, ironically. And so getting those varying opinions and um, just thoughts to be able to make decisions is one of the things that I enjoy most. But as a leader, I'm one that does the work. I don't need the accolades. We've talked about things, and sometimes it makes me uncomfortable because I don't
I
care.
cringe when
I
you say a word.
cringe so much. I hate doing a bio. You can
Yeah.
ask Joanne. She
Yeah.
she was like, I need an updated bio. I was like, I hate doing it because it's like I'm here to do the work. I'm
Yeah.
here to give back. I don't care about that stuff. It's more so about let's get the work done. How effective were we? Did we accomplish things to help our members to transact and do their job each and every day? Have we provided a tool or product from the MLS that helps them to conduct business? Those are the things that matter to me. Those are the things that I care about most. And so, really, I like to be in the background. Most times, I hate sitting up front too. You'll see that about
Yeah,
me.
you're
I
you're
like
always standing in the back of the
I'm
room.
always standing in the back and I'm always surveying. I'm always watching everything. And that's something that I just enjoy doing. I get ideas, I get my best thoughts. People come up to me and say things to me and bring up ideas. And, it gives me a basis to bring back to corporate, bring back to exec to talk about things. I'm just all about the members. I'm all about let's do the work. Let's be effective. Let's improve our association. I think we have one of the greatest associations in the nation. And I don't just say that, but I really truly believe that because of how we're operated, how we're run, how we really have checks and balances of how we make decisions. That's probably the biggest thing that people don't realize, I think, about our association is we have so many checks and balances throughout every decision that's made that everything's really vetted when it comes through our association.
Yeah, I feel like you vet things on your own in your head during the board meetings because you're never the first person to jump in and speak. You're usually in the back half of debate. And when you look at you sitting around the board table, you're very intently listening and making sure that, I feel like you come in with an opinion and you wait to hear sort of if anybody in the room is going to change you. And if they can't change your mind, that's when you come up and say, all right, you know what? This is where let's
Yeah.
get the
Yeah, I think it's important to listen to every conversation. I think it's important to assess and really in my head, if you were to get in and have a TV of my thoughts, I'm really questioning how I'm thinking.
Mhm.
And I think it's important to question how you're thinking and saying, okay, is this the right solution for everyone? I think about our small brokers, our medium-sized brokers, our large brokers and mega brokers. But then I think about, okay, just the agent, because the agent make up the brokerage at the end of the day.
Right.
So what do they need? How is this going to affect them? How is this going to affect the common agent? How is this going to affect management and how they manage the agents? And so I'm thinking about all those things when we're making decisions, when we're bringing tools, everything. And I really question my opinion first. And so that's when I'm sitting, I'm questioning myself.
Yeah, early on in my journey, I was the first one to speak. And then as I realized that my voice was starting to matter more and more in the room, is when I started dialing things back because I didn't want to influence the conversation. It's like, I've done all of my homework. I know exactly the way that I feel on this. I'm not going to say a word till everybody's had their chance to speak, and then
Right.
I'll tell you what I think about it.
Correct.
Because sometimes there might be an idea that came out that that person never would have said anything
Right.
because you ended up speaking first and they were looking up to you.
Right.
And you've got to make sure that you could dial that back a little bit. Who's influenced your leadership style the most? I know a lot of people say, this person had a big effect on me, or I had this mentor or a past president that I really looked up to. Is there somebody who really influenced your leadership style?
It's funny. So my mentor, my business mentor, he actually was my basketball coach, Ray Titus. He's a very successful man, runs multiple businesses, franchise around the world. And I got to sit in on a strategic planning that he does every year
Okay.
with his companies and all his brands. And this was actually when I was in college and I was doing basically a mentorship there with his CFO. And so I sat in a room and it was interesting. He sat back in the room and it was like, at first, the first half of the meeting, he wasn't in there. He came in the room, sat back, didn't say a word. Didn't say a word for about 20 minutes. And then he raised his hand and I said, here it goes. Because I know how he is as a coach. And it's just who he is. He's a New Yorker. He's an athlete. He's always in the thick of things. And what impressed me most about that moment was he knew every single detail. He came in and he was prepared. And he didn't need a script. He didn't need an agenda. He knew everything about that particular brand and what it was facing, the challenges, the good things that happened that year. But he came in and he tore the room apart.
Oh,
It was very tactful. He understood the conversation wasn't going in the direction that it needed to, into what mattered. And he just went in and it was just like, I mean, every single point he hit, and it was just like astonishing. I had never seen a president of a massive corporation like that just shaking in their boots as the CEO is in there. And I mean, he knew every single thing. And I went into multiple rooms that day with different brands, and it was the same story. He knew everything. And so what I take from that is being prepared.
yep.
Being prepared, knowing every single thing so that you can really critically think in such a beneficial, effective way so that we're progressing the conversation forward. We're not talking about things that don't matter. We're talking about things that really matter to the issue at hand. And he's one of the guys that really have affected my life tremendously just because he's one that always took notes. He's one that taught me to never go into a business meeting without a notepad. He said, one, you show me that I'm important to you. And two, it shows that you care about the information that I'm giving you. So you're writing notes down. And three, you never know what's going to come out of that conversation. So write it down. We might come up with the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
And we had it at a lunch meeting. And so always have a notepad and paper to write down notes, to write down your thoughts. And sometimes I, scribble on our agenda, our packet, or the little notepad that Joanne provides to us. But I think that part is important. But
I thought you were just drawing waves and little birds.
yeah. So, sometimes I'm just like drawing, but then sometimes I'm putting things like I have to write things down because I'm a visual person. But he's one of the number one people that have influenced me. I would say also, one person I want to bring up is past President Jonathan Dolphus. He just had a very tactful way of leading. He was very prepared. He was always ready, but he had just a very a tactful way of asking questions. And that's something I've always appreciated about him is the way he asks questions or certain questions that he's asked really just made you stop and think like, oh, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about it this way. Like, that's a great idea. Like,
Right.
maybe I should rethink how I'm thinking about this. And so
He's really good at that.
he's really good at that. I mean, just thought provoking is just like, oh man, makes me want to throw away my whole thought and opinion on something because he understands sitting back. I've seen him plenty of times sit back, look at things, and then he's like, let me ask this question.
Right.
And so I think that comes with being prepared, really digesting the information that we get, really digesting the agendas, the thoughts, the diagrams, the this, the that. We get so much information, but taking the time to really read it and go through it and understand and say, okay, now I can ask questions and then make a decision that is good for everyone.
Right. And part of being prepared is asking those questions before you
Correct.
get to the meeting.
Correct. Yes.
Ask your staffer, ask somebody else on the committee as the chair. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess those questions.
Because then we go on a rabbit hole and then we're sitting here and we're like, can we call the question?
Yeah. You got Kathy Watley looking at you.
Yeah, like
You asked, what are we doing Tuesday?
yeah, right.
I'm going to let you get back to work, but I've got two more quick questions for you.
Okay.
Number one, as you look forward to 2026, what do you see as your top two priorities for the association?
I think number one is in this post-settlement world, how can we continue to provide value to our members? What tools and things are our members needing in order to transact? We know business has slowed a little bit, transactions are a little bit less, market is softening. We have the condo reform, some things are just sitting. Okay, so what can we do to help you conduct business? We're always, reviewing our products and tools that we provide. That's why we don't provide, 1,000 the products on your dashboard. But what can we do as a local board to help support you? What class can we bring? What are things that we can help you with your business? I think one of the great things that we've done this year is our corporate tours. Getting people in the community to understand the community, to understand what they provide, Brightline was a great tour that we did recently, and as well as the Fort Lauderdale airport, seeing behind the scenes of that. I thought that was stellar.
I did that in my Leadership Academy year. I thought it was excellent.
It was excellent. Really understanding, these things that we use every single day so that we can sell our area a little bit better, so that people understand the airports and the transportation that we have here. And so I think stuff like that is what I really want to gain from the members so that we can provide that next year. The other thing is really just improving upon our communication and just really as this market is changing. I mean, I feel like every single day real estate is changing. We've had the lawsuits, we've had contract changes, we've had so many different things happen so rapidly that we've tried to keep up. I think we've done a phenomenal job. Our staff has done a great job of informing us, of keeping us really involved throughout the process. I think one of the big key things is obviously AI in real estate. What does that look like? Making sure that we're doing things correctly because uh, there's so many things with AI that it can do that it can probably get you in some trouble specifically. And so it's really important to me to make sure that we're providing information to all of our members so that they can conduct business, but also that they can make sound business decisions as business owners and team leads and such like that. So I would say those are kind of my priorities next year, and really just make sure that we're providing the value to all of our members so that they see us as their partners in their business, not just an association, but really partners in their business to push them forward into a successful 2026.
Okay, awesome. So last question for you. Why don't you tell us about a Florida gem? We ask this question of everybody that's on the podcast.
Sure.
Anything that you love about living in South Florida?
Oh, there's so many. Number one is restaurant in Coral Springs called Lavello. One of my good friends, Chef Bruno, opened a restaurant there. It is phenomenal. Definitely go during lunchtime. That's when the menu is just kind of like unique. Is not what you're used to. So many different fusions of cuisines that is just stellar. That's in Coral Springs, Lavello. Chef Bruno, check him out. Golf wise, because I'm a golfer, North Palm Beach Country Club, one of the best public golf courses that we have in South Florida, in my humble opinion. Beautiful course, Jack Nicklaus course, one of the only public courses that Jack Nicklaus has designed. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
For you guys who do not know, President-elect Dolphus is a fantastic golfer. I have been out golfing with him before. He did whip my butt pretty good, but did give me some pointers as well to help me along. You are such a good mentor now, aren't you?
Hey, I try.
Well, I'm definitely going to go and check out North Palm Beach Golf Course, who he says is designed by Jack
Jack
Nicklaus.
Nicklaus, yeah.
I took him down to Pompano Beach Municipal Golf Course. We played the Pines course, which is a Greg Norman course. That was fantastic. So if he likes this way better, definitely way better. Check it out. Jonathan, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me
this morning. And we will see you guys all right back here next week, Friday, 8 a.m. on RWorld Talk.